Shay, welcome to Coffee and Tea with CarrieVee.
I'm so excited to be here. Oh my God. We have so many things to catch up on.
We do. I'm so excited too. Oh my gosh, I've been waiting for this. So I'm going to record a great intro later, but Shay, you are a certified event producer, and events have the power to be amazing and they have the power to be really horrible. So take it from here and tell us about this power of events.
So true. They can be super amazing, right? To the point where we've got clients that are, creating 6 figures, 7 figures in 3 days. And they can also be the opposite, where literally just the other day, my team member came to me and said, I went to this home and garden show, I was really super excited about it. We walked in, we paid our $5, and then we really wanted to turn around, but we felt guilty. So we did a lap and then we left. So you can have the gamut. And really, when you're taking a look at events, whether you're utilizing it for your business, whether you're somebody that is, a part of a bigger corporation and you're either attending events as a part of the corporation, or you're putting on events as a part of the corporation, or you just are somebody that wants to go to a home and garden show, there's really a couple of key pieces that make events great and amazing. And there's a couple of reasons why people actually attend events. And so anytime we look at the power of events, we go, okay, the very first thing is we look at, why are people showing up? What is the promise? What is the purpose? And what is the intention of the event? For both you as the one putting it on, as well as those attending, right? So somebody attending, they could be coming for the networking. They could be coming for some type of education. They could be coming for inspiration, maybe a recognition of their accomplishments, or, a marketing or sponsorship type of opportunity, right? A bunch of vendors or something getting together. That's a reason for people to attend events. But if it's on the flip side and you're the one hosting it, why are you hosting it? What is the intention? What is the promise that you are having your attendees walk away with? And as you start to craft your, what we call the run a show or the agenda, you need to make sure that that is the through line that sticks with you the entire way through.
So when I have attended events in the past that maybe were less than I expected, is there a good chance then that not having that run of show, that theme going through the run of show, is that a huge cause of breakdown in an event?
Yeah, absolutely. People are coming for a reason. And it ties into all of your marketing and the promotion. It's like, why are they showing up? What is the hook for them to exchange their time, their money, their energy, their effort to be there? And we want to make sure that that is a theme that happens throughout the entire event. So if you are, let's say, a coach, a speaker, an expert, and you are looking to support your audience with what it is that you do for a living, right? You're going to host, let's say, a 3-day event that walks them through, where they're at currently to where they want to be. And it's that gap that you're taking them through. It's that experience that you're walking them through in those 3 days. And you have to kind of know that ahead of time, because as you're marketing, as you're filling the event, they want to know why they're showing up in the first place. I am walking away with X, Y, and Z. This is your promise to me as the attendee of why I'm showing up. Why I'm, whether it's a free event and it's a masterclass or it's 3 days in person, why am I showing up? What am I walking away with? So that is kind of your North Star that you absolutely must hit in order for it to be an amazing experience for your attendees.
That sounds, I'm just taking so many notes. When you see me looking down, I really am taking notes. Like, oh, well, of course, it makes such sense. And yet I feel like many people, I'll put it this way, many people who are putting on events
Yeah.
maybe don't know that. And I know that I have been at events where I just am not even sure why I'm there.
Yeah. Well, so it's interesting, Carrie. There's actually 5 event fundamentals that you want to be looking at if you are hosting an event, right? So the first one is you want to take a look at your audience and your ticket sales. So I kind of touched on this a little bit. It was like, who is the audience? What are we offering them? What is the promise? How are they going to be showing up? Is it a free event? Is it a paid event? What are they getting for their time with you? The second one is that run a show or that agenda. What is the program, right? How are we supporting them? How are we taking them from point A to point Z? What is that transformation? Because people want to be transformed. They want you to either support them with the pain that they're in. They want you to, engage them and give them some motivation, some inspiration, some education, whatever. That I was saying a bunch of how do you say ism or something like that? Like
Yes.
all the shuns in
all
there,
the shuns.
right?
Yeah.
All the shuns. Like, what are the shuns that you're going to be supporting with? And within your run a show, you want to make sure that it's really super engaging. So I'm sure a lot of your audience has been on a number of virtual events that have not been very engaging. I've been to a few myself, and I'm like, sitting on my hands because I'm like, just create a breakout session, do some mic shares, add music, like do something, add a video here, like engage the audience, especially on virtual, because when you're in virtual, you're not necessarily competing with other events. You're competing with Netflix. You're competing with TV, you're competing with movies, you're competing with, that's what it is. It feels like you're doing when you're watching a virtual event. It's like a movie. So are you creating the opportunities where they are the hero of this journey and allowing them to transform in that process while they're with you? How do you keep them engaged? How do you keep them coming back? You'll hear some people go, I had, 100 people register for my virtual event and I had 10 people show up. Okay. Or I had 20 people show up and 10 left halfway through because you weren't engaging with them. You were talking at them. You weren't bringing them in. You weren't breaking down that fourth wall of, having that conversation like we get to have.
Yes.
That's really how you have to think through the event fundamental of your run a show. Yeah. So that's the second one.
Okay.
The third one is your offer strategy. Every event you do, whether it's a Facebook Live, an Instagram Live, a podcast, a home and garden show, a sales and enrollment event, a seminar, a trade show, whatever it is, you must have some type of offer strategy, whether it's a free offer, whether it's a free gift, whether, like if you're at a trade show and you're a sponsor, let's say, how are you drawing them into your booth? Do you have like one of those spinning wheels that, people are hearing and they're like, oh, somebody's giving away something. I want to be a part of that, right? Like, what is your offer strategy? How are you supporting the audience that's coming in? So then that's the third one. Okay. The fourth one is your support team. Anytime you're hosting an event, do not do it alone, right? You've got a support team. I mean, I'm sure you even have a support team, Carrie, of like, okay, once we do the podcast, then the team takes it. I know I do that for my podcast is, my team takes it, they go through, they add all of the notes, they make sure everything sounds proper, they get it out onto the social, they, give you all the assets to the guests, so on and so forth.
Yes.
Have a support team so you aren't doing it all. That goes for even like I did a summit last year and I was interviewing a number of my clients on how they utilize events to grow their business, as well as what is their specialty. And I had my team on there that was supporting me and making sure that they were showing up on time. They knew what time they were supposed to be showing up. They had their gifts. If I was running late, which I don't run late because I have a thing about being on time. the event producer in me. But, events happen where, you are going to go off on time, and we know that. So have your support team to be in communication with everybody else involved in the event, right?
Yes.
And then the fifth thing is your budget. You got to look at the numbers. Even if it is a free Instagram live or something like that, right? There's no necessarily a money exchange, but there is a time exchange.
Yes.
And that's the thing we all have the same amount of, is time. So how are you spending your time? How is your audience spending their time? What does that budget number look like for you? And is it giving you an ROI? And if not, then we need to tweak and adjust.
Everything you said sounds so much like common sense. And yet I feel like
it's an event on.
Yes. And it's not that we are trying to ignore what is really needed to put on a good event. We just don't know what we don't know.
Right. Well, yeah. I mean, if anybody's put on a wedding, that's an event.
Yes.
Right? It's like who's the audience? How are they showing up? What is the agenda? The offer is not necessarily you're selling anything, but you're offering them their gifts when they walk away, right?
Yes.
Your support team. Do you have somebody supporting you in this wedding, and then your budget definitely comes into play as well.
For sure. It's interesting that that's the example you brought up. I remember 17 years ago, I can't even believe this, when I was marrying my husband. It was our second marriage for both of us. And yet I still wanted something beautiful. And I figured I could just do it on my own. And so I started off on my own. And then it began to get very overwhelming. And I went to a venue. We had a venue picked, and they were very, very unhelpful. One week, maybe a little bit more than a week later, I found another venue by chance. I'll put in air quotes. I was passing by, looked in the window, and was like, what is this place? Yeah. This is beautiful. And I went in, they weren't even opened yet. They were opening the weekend of our wedding. Oh, and wow. And the woman who was in charge just took over everything. It was such a relief. And we called everybody, we moved the entire event, and she really did make it an experience. There was this glass elevator. She had me come down in a glass elevator. And then my dad met me there and walked me down the aisle. And she was my team, and she did amazing. And so that was when I really learned it's really okay to lean on people and let them be their experts.
That is so true, right? Especially for, a lot of my speakers, coaches, authors, thought leaders, they have a team, and their team is fantastic at what it is that they do, right? And they're like, well, I'm just going to have my team handle it. Well, they're your customer service support, or they're your tech person or whatever. And that's why you hired them. Right. You didn't hire them for events, right? Yes. You want to have the event experts come in and lead your team on what their specific role needs to be within the entire event. Yes. And so I think that's probably why events are really one of the best ways for people to know, like, and trust you, as well as supporting you as the host as well. I think that's really super important. And, it doesn't have to be a gigantic event. You can do a small event. You can do something with 20 people, 50 people in a room, and create transformation. And still, especially if your offer is to go into your program or what have you, create a 6-figure weekend with 20 people in the room. I had a client that did that, made $150,000, 20 people in the room, but created such an experience, because it's really showcasing how you're going to be able to support them on the long term, right? You can only teach so much in an hour, in, a day, in 3 days. And it's really that long-term transformation that we're looking to support people with and get them crazy awesome results. That's why I love events so much, is it's kind of like that little little pink spoon when you go to Baskin Robbins, right? It's like, here, taste this, see if we're a good fit for each other.
Yes. So what got you into this? I know you love events, and I know it is your passion to help create these memorable experiences, these life-changing events. What got you into this?
I kind of fell into it, is what I say, but the universe always has my back and is always like
Yeah.
conspiring on my behalf, to be
Uh-huh.
honest. So I was speaking on a stage, New Year, New You, about appreciation marketing.
Mhm.
And it was a multi-speaker event. So there was, people back and forth and we're switching microphones and all that. And so I was just joking around with the guy in front of me and I'm like, hey, dude, don't go spitting on my mic. Oh my God, who are you? Come to find out, he was the head of education for Dr. Oz's nonprofit. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I met his sister Saval at the women's conference. And he's like, wait a minute, she's best friends with our CEO and we're doing a women's conference. You should help us. And I went,
Wow.
okay.
Wow.
Yeah. So that was like my first paying gig as an associate producer. I was in charge of over 70 speakers and over 100 volunteers.
Oh my.
Yeah.
Oh my. And you
Yeah.
loved every minute of it, didn't you?
Yeah. I mean, I've always loved events. I've always loved volunteering and being
Mhm.
at them because back in the day, I just didn't have any money.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, well, instead of exchanging dollars to attend, I'm going to exchange my time and work the event and still hear the information that's coming through.
Yes.
So that was
Yes.
my introduction to the world of events.
I love that story. Must still just send chills down your spine. Like, what were the chances truly of something like that happening? And yet there you were
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
that, in that. And I also love that you brought out that you've always loved events. And
Mhm.
me too. I would go to every single event that I could. And I love to volunteer at them. Even if I can afford the ticket, I still want
You
to go
see
and
so
work the
many
event.
things.
Yes.
Yeah, like a lot of my clients like to offer like a volunteer spot to their clients when they're hosting an event,
Mhm.
especially if it's for somebody that's wanting to learn the ins and outs of events. Being on team is such a great way to see behind the curtain of what
Yes.
happens, what needs to happen, how it really takes a team to
Yes.
support the audience that's showing up, and all the little things that we do that the audience may or may not see. I
Uh-huh.
mean, little things such as when we're in person, because we'll do virtual, we'll do in person, we'll do hybrid. When we're in person, we actually have a role for somebody to open and close the door. Why? It's that extra concierge feel. It's like,
Yes.
let me get this door for you. Let me support you here.
Mhm.
It's a point person, oh, I have a question. Great. There's somebody right here at the door to support you with that and to help you find that answer. It's just that little extra touch that I have my team do. Not a lot of people do that, but I like that little extra.
Yes.
Let me support you. Let me love you. Let me help you be seen and heard.
Mhm.
In a lot of our potential clients and attendees that are coming, it's because they're in a lot of pain. They're in pain about their relationship, they're in pain about their health, they're in pain about their business, and they just want to land in a space where people get them and they see them. And it's like, we've
Mhm.
got you. Come in.
Yes.
We're here. We understand.
Yeah. Oh, that's so, so powerful. And even if you talked about an event of 20, I
Mhm.
hosted an event, co-hosted an event with a friend this past November,
Yeah.
and it was for 20 women. That was what we could fit in the room, and that's what we filled the room with. And I had someone come and volunteer who was in charge simply of making sure that the water didn't go empty, that the water in the coffee pot was always there to make coffee, that the snacks were kept on ice. That was what she did, because I have been to events where I go back to the water cooler and it's gone. And you don't even know who to ask about filling it.
Yep.
And the person that I asked to do that was like, really, for 20 people, you just want me to watch the food table? Yeah. I want you to make sure everything looks beautiful. Yes.
Yeah, it's absolutely important.
Yeah.
Especially it's also an introduction into your world.
Yes.
Right. So if somebody's watching the food table and the water and making sure that you're feeling nourished, just imagine what it's like to continue to work with you and your partner on, the next 6 months or the next year, what that's going to be like for you.
Yeah. I didn't even realize that until you just put it into those words
You just did it intuitively.
Yes. Yes. I mean, I just thought about being up on the stage the whole time and thinking, okay, who's going to take charge of that? Because I've been to places where nobody does, and it's not a good experience. You leave feeling like, gosh, you didn't even care about my basic needs today.
Maslow's hierarchy of needs, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I am fascinated by what you do. I can't wait to work with you on my dream event right now that people are asking more and more and more about. So it's going to happen sooner than later. I know. I can see you're like, ooh, let's do it.
I'm excited. Yes. Yes. Too. I mean, it's so important to me to really support people with a vision and a mission to get the word out about what it is that they're doing, because it's that ripple effect, right? It's like, you changed the lives of 20 people. That might not seem like a lot, but to those 20 people, it was life-changing.
Yes.
So how dare you not go, okay, I have this in me. It's been downloaded and it's showing up for me to support these people, that I really am the only ones that can really support them based on my knowledge and my skill set and my background. I can relate to them.
Yes.
How dare I not support them?
Yes. I love that you brought that out. A lot of times I hear people say, well, yeah, but so-and-so did an event sort of like that. Okay. So they did.
Right.
Now you can. That just proves it can be done.
Yes. Same thing goes for, I just don't think there's any competition really.
No, I don't
either.
Because
you're going to connect with somebody different than I'm going to connect with somebody, even if we were doing the same thing.
Yes.
Right. And my experience is different than your experience on how we would go about it. We might get them to the same end spot, but how I'm relating to them and how they relate to me is going to be different than you.
Yes, for absolute sure. Oh my gosh. I can't believe we're already at 23 minutes. I'm like, watching the clock going, no. So that just means that we have to have you back, because there's so many more things, like you mentioned about being on time. I would love to talk to you about that. I even wrote it in my notes, like, let's do a podcast on that.
Yes.
Let's do a podcast on why that is so important. But in the meantime, what would be a journal prompt that you could leave for our listeners?
A journal prompt. So, we work with speakers, coaches, expert thought leaders who are looking to really scale and leverage their company utilizing the power of events. So what we tend to do is, we specialize in what's called sales and enrollment events.
Okay.
And of the 5 different event fundamentals, you're going to want to take a look at, where am I missing the mark? So it's like, okay, I'm doing an event. What is the process that we're going to be taking them through? What is the promise? How are we going to be reaching out to them? What does that look like? What is the offer? And really kind of journal out that experience, right? So taking a look at how you can support the audience in what it is that you do. You have a 6-month, a year-long coaching program. You're looking to leverage your time and your energy and move from one-on-one conversations to a one-to-many. And that's where an event will come into play. So what is the type of event that you need to be utilizing to go from one-on-one conversations to one-to-many? And the prompt for you, I would say, is go through the 5 event fundamentals, get really kind of rock solid on what that looks like. And then let's utilize the different types of events to get you to that promise. So if you're wanting to do lead gen, you're going to take a look at maybe doing a summit or a podcast, be a guest on a podcast host. If you're looking to sell your programs and your packages, you're going to want to take a look at a 1-day, a 3-day, or even a master class. A master class that sells into, right? Because you have to have an offer, sells into your strategy session one-on-one. It's still one-on-one, but there's an opportunity to get them further along versus just through networking.
Yes. Yes. Oh, this is so, I'm just like, I can't wait to go do this journaling. And what is your version of your pow pow shoes?
I would say taking a look at, playing with that coach who really wants to forward her passion for changing the way women master their mindset to mastering their business. Playing with that accountant who realizes that hosting an event really supports them in their mission to change the lives and build wealth for their clients. That speaker whose community has raised nearly $1 million for humanitarian projects supporting women in starting businesses and really believes in women thriving in collaboration. And together we make an impact through the power of events. It's really helping these thought leaders, these speakers, these coaches leverage their business through events so that they can help and support more people and create that wave of change I was talking about earlier, creating that ripple effect that just goes across the world.
Yes, that is definitely powerful. Definitely. This has been so amazing. So before I let you go, please let us know where we can find you.
Absolutely. So you can head on over to our website, which is graceandeaseproductions.com. I'm on all the social medias, either under Grace and Ease Productions or Shay Wheat. We do a Facebook group as well if you want to kind of see some of the behind the scenes of events. And then if you are somebody that is really interested in going, okay, I'm interested in events. I want to see what event I should be doing based on the level and the phase of business that I'm in right now. I have a gift for your audience. It's called the 5 Phases of Event Leverage, where I walk you through, okay, you're just starting out, you're in phase 1, this is what you need to do. Okay, you're in phase 2, this is where you're at, and this is how you move to phase 3. So where they can pick that up is heading over to fivephases.info, and that's spelling out the word 5, F-I-V-E, phases with an S.info/coffee.
Okay, fivephases.info/coffee. And I will link all of this in the show notes. And thank you for that gift.
Absolutely.
It is.
Enjoy.
Oh, it is a fabulous gift. I encourage everyone to go get this, print it out, save it in your Dropbox, treat it like the gold that it is. Shay, you are fabulous. Thank you so much for taking your time to hang with us today. And I truly hope you will come back with us.
I would love to.
Thank you.